For this example, we are going to use the law of cosines to solve this triangle. So we're given two sides and an angle. So we cannot use the law of sines because we don't have a matching pair, a side angle pair. But I'm going to fill in my picture. I have 15 degrees here for angle C. Side A is 10, side B is 3. So I have to use the law of cosines. I'm going to use the version that has c squared here. So you get a squared plus b squared. This is the Pythagorean theorem. If this was a right triangle, one of the versions of the law of cosines would actually be the Pythagorean theorem. So c squared equals a squared plus b squared minus 2ab cosine of big C. So now we're going to fill in the stuff we know for this. So c squared is going to be 10 squared, which is 100, plus 3 squared, which is 9, minus 2 times 10 times 3 times the cosine of 15 degrees. And we can type this into our calculators. We'll get c squared equals 51.04. And then take the square root to get c by itself. Now this could be plus or minus, but we're talking about the length of the triangle, the side of triangle. So we're going to choose positive, so it would be 7.145. So now you see we have a matching side angle pair, so we can use the law of sines. If you don't like the law of sines and you like the law of cosines, you can continue to use the law of cosines here. Set it up just the same way we did just now. You're going to use the two other versions of the law of cosines. For me, I think the law of sines is easier, so I'm going to use that now that I can, but I have to make a choice. So I will use the law of sines to find this smaller angle. And why would I use it to find the smaller one? That's because the law of sines will only return acute angles. So if there was an obtuse angle in this triangle, it would go with the largest side. So if there was an obtuse angle, it would be angle A, and the law of sines would not give that to me. So I'm going to use the law of sines to find angle B, which I know is acute, and then I'll use subtraction to find angle A, which is probably obtuse because angle C is so small also. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to use the sine of 15 degrees over 7.145. That's equal to the sine of B over 3. Then multiply both sides by 3. So 3 times the sine of 15 divided by 7.145. This is equal to the sine of B. And then to get B by itself, you want to take sine inverse on both sides. So sine inverse of all of that stuff will be equal to angle B. When you do that in the calculator, you get that B is 6.239 degrees. So I'll put that up here. We'll just go with 6.2 up here. And then what we're going to do is, so say you're not paying attention and you just go on with the law of sines, which is fine. You can do sine of A over 10 equals the sine of 15 over 7.145 again. Multiply both sides by 10, so you have the sine of A equals 10 times the sine of 15 degrees divided by 7.145. Now when you do this, you'll do sine inverse now. So you would have sine inverse of 10 sine 15 divided by 7.145. This is going to equal A. When you do that, A is going to equal 21.238, which as you go to put that into your other stuff, you'll recognize, well, that's not nearly big enough. 21, 6, and 15 isn't 180. So that's not it. So what you would do instead is do the A has to be 180 minus 21.238. And that's because 21 degrees right here has the same height as that angle over here, this angle is 180 minus 21.238. So that's 158.76. And that is actually angle A. Now, if we wanted to check ourselves, we could add those three angles up. You do get 180, so that's good. But your alternative when you did this, you could have, instead of doing this step, so this would be 1, this is step 2, this is a possible step 3, or do this for step 3, do 180, the A is 180 minus 15 minus 6.2. When you do that, you get 158.8, which is what we got doing it the other way also. So there is how to do the law of, how to solve a triangle using the law of cosines. Now again, if you don't want to think about order, you can use the law of cosines for the entire thing. It's more algebra, but it is, you don't have to think about the order in which you solve for things. So that's your call. Yeah, if you have any questions, let me know.